Meeting of the Lunenburg Water Commission, June 22nd, 2022. Meeting being recorded for rebroadcast over public access, even though people don't watch it anyway. Let's see. Need a motion to approve the minutes of June 8th.
So moved?
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those are the minutes, we've done the warrants. Okay, we're gonna get into personnel policies and benefits a little bit. Is this,
Sorry, let's just move
is this, I don't know if this is, is this executive session stuff, or is this stuff that we should be doing?
No, some of it's just basic.
Okay. So
The revised ones, I tried to highlight just a couple of things. It was very little things, like the overtime didn't have the weekends and holidays listed, that they get paid overtime. We added that, employee reviews, just a quick thing on there. I don't know if you guys want to discuss it or not, but I know we talked last time, you had me call the town.
Yeah, what did they decide on their paid holiday with Juneteenth?
They did get it off.
Yeah.
They said they had to renegotiate their union, so they had it off, Sewer had it off, the town had it off. And then they also got one other holiday that we don't, which was the day before Christmas paid off. So technically there were two, but.
So how many holidays did you total up how many holidays they had?
So, well, we have 1, 2, 3,
11,
4, 5, so 11, so they have 13.
Huh.
So I think that the Juneteenth one, you gotta add that to federal holiday.
Yeah.
So I'd say we just add it to this and
Okay.
it gives us another holiday.
Yeah.
So like the Christmas one, we don't have that set in stone as a day off. Typically it's a half day.
Christmas Eve.
Yeah. Do you have
Yeah, Christmas
you have
Eve,
a
yeah.
floating? Somebody says what's a floating holiday? They like.
I've been talking about it with other people, and they said something about that people would lose if because they got the Juneteenth, they could have a floating one like the day after Thanksgiving.
Oh.
So because this became a new holiday, they were losing that floating holiday, Christmas Eve or the day after Thanksgiving.
We don't have one anyway.
Right.
Not listed,
No. Okay.
so.
Yeah, no, I would say we have to
All right.
add that.
Okay. All right. I did revise this and talked with Fran, the vacation leave. We had it listed as, on the old one, as all employees.
Yeah.
And then we've talked about, should it be changed to full-time employees? Because I know, like, when I was part-time, I don't think some of the other board members wanted me to get vacation time. But then there was confusion when we had new part-time come in, they did get vacation time, so I just felt
It should
should
state, whatever way you wanna go.
all employees get a vacation time according to, if they're part-time and they're only working 20 hours a week,
So
then do they get 1 week after 12 months, you know what I mean, according to hours, or is it full-time employees? I guess it just needed to
How do we
be.
work the paid holidays for part-time? Do they get like half of them, or do they not get
Yeah,
any?
how's that?
No, they would get all of them.
They get all
Yeah.
of them, okay.
Yeah.
So,
If
yeah,
their work day is on a holiday.
Okay, so like, if someone was scheduled Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
Yeah.
Monday was regular, they're not gonna get paid for that Monday?
Correct.
No.
Okay.
so, and you can still gain personal days
And sick days,
for all employees, so,
yeah.
okay.
So it just needed to be stated whether
Maybe
you,
we need to make that clear too, that if you're a part-time employee, if the vacation day happens on the day that you're off, that
Okay.
you don't take it on.
if you decide to
I guess that's
give
what I'm
it, if
thinking,
you
is
decide
if
to
you're a
give.
part-time employee, and I'm just making this up, let's say you work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
Yeah.
and you wanna take your vacation week, that's what you get, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You don't
Correct.
get Monday to Friday, you only get those.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep, the
You-
hours
you're-
would be comparable.
Oh, yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's what I do for Lisa, when she has the time, yes,
Right,
she gets her
if she has
comparable
a week
vacation
off,
week, that's what she has for the
take
week.
her normal
Yeah.
Okay.
work week off.
So then, all right, so maybe I should try to word that in there a little bit better. Like a
Maybe.
part-time section that's, you're still entitled to it, but your vacation
Right.
time
I mean, I got no
is-
problem giving a part-timer like a
Yeah,
vacation, but just
But basically
appropriate
stating
to
reflective on however many hours you work.
normally would work or
Okay.
something to that
Alright.
effect. That sound appropriate?
Yep.
Part-time.
So that's just on the vacation leave, the personal days
Yeah.
and the sick time stays the same,
Mhm.
that's for everybody. Yep.
Okay. See?
Life insurance.
So that one, we've already implemented, you guys just had to vote on it.
Yep.
Yep.
You guys already had voted on it in board meeting, but it hadn't been actually,
Now, do we wanna offer this to, at a reduced, to a part-time employee or not?
Typically, the intent of the part-time was for minimal benefits.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we should stay.
Yep.
Yeah.
so then the next one, the disability, I believe on the old one didn't say full-time, so I think that needed to
Yep.
be stated
Agree.
full-time as
Mhm.
well.
Yep.
Um,
Then we have the buyback, I'm still kinda,
Yeah.
this is what you've seen in other communities.
Mhm.
Health,
Yeah.
dental is offered, full-time employees, district,
So this is what was, I didn't change that.
deductions taken out on a picture. Okay, so
So this is
we're
the-
looking to consider something
Yeah, so this is still, the
additional
wording
if
is still
somebody
the old
chooses not to.
one. This is whatever you guys decide to do on that part. I don't know if you wanna
Do you-
go over it
did
or
you-
go back
do you
on.
have- Do you have anything from other communities that do it, what they do a percentage of buyback, do they?
I know you know what, I could probably go back to when we talked about all
I
of
would-
it, but
You talked to almost
yes,
every town.
I did Air, Templeton, Shirley, Acton, Groton, Chelmsford, Sudbury, Grafton. So Air did a lump sum of 5,000. Templeton did 6,000, but it was broken up into each
Quarter?
paycheck.
Oh, okay, so.
And they're
oh, wow.
paid bi-weekly.
Okay.
So twice a month, they broke it up. Shirley is very small. They only had the 2 employees or 3 employees, and because that full-time employee didn't take it, they actually gave and added it to his salary of 25 grand.
Wow.
Sudbury did $10,000,
Okay,
and
we're
they
not-
broke it up into each check.
We're not Sudbury, so. I'm gonna-
Yeah, no, these were just,
Did it?
Acton, Groton, and Chelmsford did not offer anything.
Okay, so the communities that do offer, do
Mm-hmm.
they require the employee to have health insurance by other means?
So this was something that Air sent me.
Because I wouldn't want somebody to take this.
Yes,
and not
evidence
be
of
covered.
new insurance provided. So enrolled, it basically says, are you eligible to participate? Have you shown evidence that you have insurance, the effective date of the insurance, whatever the buyback is.
Mhm.
And this was the form that he made them sign to prove that they have
Right,
health
I
insurance
think
elsewhere.
If we do something to this effect that you need to, let's say maybe once a year provide.
Yeah,
like,
oh,
it's like a
absolutely.
workman's comp
Yep.
audit
Yeah.
kind of thing, you know what I'm saying, yes, I've had it and I've been covered
Yep.
this entire time.
Yep.
And I kind of like to buy the paycheck thing.
Yeah,
If
'cause
we
that
can-
kinda
I-
goes by.
If we can do that without much, math.
No, actually you can, because
Okay.
I can set it up in QuickBooks.
Okay, yeah, as long as
each-
it's not too difficult to do.
Or if, yeah, I mean, it just having continued proof that that people have coverage.
Yep.
Would be very important. I don't want to see somebody taking
Yeah,
advantage of this and not being covered.
Right.
So I don't know if annually is enough to make sure people are
I guess
covered.
I would say you should also, we should have like, when they fill this out, that we have the right to ask at any point for their insurance, like a spot inspection, like, we need some insurance.
Yeah.
Something to that effect.
Yeah, or at least annually you need to be,
And
Could-
minimum-
well, yeah.
Like,
Annually,
honestly, you
something,
do it
yeah.
like when you do your taxes already. you
Yeah, yeah.
and,
yeah, you get that full
You get
form that
that
shows that
form,
you had
right.
insurance every month.
yeah. I think there's a way. I think a little bit of what we've discussed kind of down on paper
Mm-hmm,
and some type of a form like this. And, you know, I don't know if this tells you that you have to say, you have to notify if there's a change in your coverage.
we could, I mean, yeah, we
You
can
know,
add all
make-
that kind of
you know,
stuff.
You're responsible to notify the employer of a change of coverage. I mean, you
Yep.
might change from one carrier to another.
Yeah,
Right, like all those things we
But
should.
we just wanna make sure that people are covered.
yep,
You know, I think it's worthwhile, because, I mean, if you have the opportunity to take the insurance here, and you don't take it, well, then that's money back to the district, because we're obviously not gonna reimburse the 100%.
Yeah,
And, I mean, a single plan is,
I should have grabbed that when we were gonna talk
I
about
wanna,
this. You
I
wanna
wanna
give me a
say,
minute?
I wanna
to
say
grab
we
it?
were, I thought that,
1,000, something like that.
oh, family plan probably 20, well, it's about $1,000 a month, maybe more, 1,200 a month now?
I think it's two.
I wanna say,
2,000
yeah.
For a single?
No, for family.
For family, right. So, you know, I think that the numbers here, I mean, it's a savings to the district if people choose not to take the insurance or have another means to have insurance.
Sure, like
Yeah.
your situation.
Yep,
So, I'm open to it as long as we just iron out the details.
sure.
Right, like I said, just covering those bases that. yeah.
So, do you guys want me to, well,
I think there's gotta be proof. I don't mind doing it on a paycheck to paycheck basis, cause then if somebody leaves, there's no math.
yeah, that's it, it's
Sure.
done, it's, yep,
And it's not a big thing on a year end, so I don't care either way, we could do it at a year end, where.
If paycheck to paycheck is not a
yeah, cause I
problem,
already can set each, I can do each code that I take out.
And then at that point, you don't have to do much figuring, if it picks up
Sure.
for somebody else, another employee, well, then they can just start on the
Correct.
next pay period, and just a pay period to pay period.
Yeah,
So, I would just like to see some type of form, I'd like to see something that tells that if there's a change in your benefits, the employee needs to notify
Yep.
yourself as a clerk treasurer. And they just need to make sure that our insurance doesn't have issue with, I believe if somebody lost insurance, that's a qualifying event, so they should be able to pick up on ours at that point.
yes, there's open
There's
enrollment,
open enrollment, but then there's
And then
also
there's- yes.
qualifying events, and if you lose your insurance, I think that's a qualifying event.
yes,
So,
I know at the top, I've done that, like new hires,
I just don't want somebody
change
to
of
get
something.
caught. in-
I agree, yeah.
so-
yeah.
But I think it's pretty basic out there, so I'm open to something like this.
So do you want me to type something up like that for the next meeting, and then,
I think, yeah,
if I put something in here, if I change this for you guys to vote on, do we have an amount that you want me to put in? You know, I'll make all these
I think
changes,
5,000's a good number.
Yeah. Let's see what.
so
see
per
what-
paycheck,
Yeah, kind of see what that evens out and see if we can get a nice round number when we're done.
per paycheck, for,
Yeah.
okay,
I don't need to have
around that.
I don't need to have
Well-
and 39 cents. or
Well, the
whatever.
only thing is, it is an odd number through them, and
Right.
it does fluctuate each year, so as much as we try to get
Oh, right.
you know, a
Whatever.
$25 a week or $50 a week thing,
Where it
but I
does,
can figure it out.
where it does fluctuate every year and moving forward, maybe we consider it being a percentage.
That's well,
A percentage of.
not
a-
their pay, but
No.
of the.
Of the- what the
plan,
insurance
of the
is?
plan, yes,
Right, so if
yes.
the plan goes up, the benefit goes up,
Correct. Yeah, absolutely.
you know, it stays in line with.
Maybe that's
Maybe look at that, all right,
Yeah,
I'll look at the,
look at what
And
if it
I'm,
comes out close, you know,
Yeah.
what percent
Yeah.
versus around the 5,000,
and then the only other thing, is this something that we want to offer out of the gate? Or is this something that after they're here for a period? I
Well,
guess-
insurance
I
is
just, I'd
immediate.
offer it out of the gate.
Right out of the
Yeah,
gate.
I would
The
too.
sooner they're on it, we save money.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're doing $5,000, we're saving 20 grand a year.
Yeah.
Well, plus we offer the health insurance to new employees the day they start.
Yeah, so then it's right out of the
you
gate.
can't
It's
say,
the
yeah.
same thing.
We
Yeah.
had somebody that came as a new hire that was a veteran or something like that, already like, no, I get health insurance.
And then I don't
Yeah.
know, they have pay codes and stuff here, so you have to figure it out.
Yeah,
And they vary, but.
yeah, individual and family.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So, but if you do the percent, if they're on the individual, then.
Yeah, we could do,
Right.
yeah, percent might,
I think, I'd be
Alright.
in favor of percent based off roughly that number.
yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying?
let me see what I
Yeah.
can,
yeah, I mean, you could always say you're gonna be a family and
And not.
not.
Right.
yeah, but with
So that's
that,
where that-
but-
yeah, yeah.
but with that, do you have to
So when you show me.
show your
when you show
insurance,
me
I
my
wanna see that
insurance,
you're
I need
paying
to
your
see.
yeah.
Right, exactly. That's kind of like the caveat to this, like.
Are you on a family
Are you
plan
on a family plan?
or are you on an individual plan?
Right.
Yeah, yep,
that would be, and also I would have.
It's still a savings to the district, even if they're on.
I just want to, absolutely, it's a savings to us, but we want to make sure, A, that they're covered.
Right.
And just make sure that everything's on the up and up.
Yeah.
By all means, if they can get their own insurance and it saves us money, we can give some back.
So
Okay.
see
All
how
right, let me,
that, kind of looking at individual family and
Yep.
come back to us, and we can come back to that.
I definitely would do it with an annual requirement too, that they need to provide some documentation.
Yes,
so.
yeah. Applicant elects to voluntarily terminate this, bi-weekly health benefit buyout program, enrollment terminated, program is terminated. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah, it pretty much, it has most of it here. The only thing I wanted to say is if there's a change in the coverage, you agree to notify the
Yep.
district, there'll be a change in coverage. Because I just don't want to see somebody not covered.
Yeah,
Retirement.
nothing changed in that.
Okay,
So none of that changed for retirement. The only other section we completely added, which Fran and I were talking about, I don't know if we really want it in this full personal policies and benefits package, or if this is, because like he was saying, some of the stuff I just quickly jotted down, the water operator new hire requirements.
Mhm.
A lot of that stuff within 2 years isn't really, like, you can't get your distribution in 2 years. It takes 5 years, I believe, 5, right?
so we might,
It was more than 2, I'm not sure the actual, how long.
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
So, I mean, do we kind of make it a little more,
So that would be more, to me, like contractual with a new hire.
okay,
Maybe not fall under
policies and
policies and
benefits, yeah.
benefits.
I mean, at the last section, the throughout employment, I think maybe,
I think when you get into this, I mean, that's like this is where also that, you know, we could add on to it, as far as the new hire requirements.
having this separate from.
Separate from the
okay.
separate
Yeah.
from what we're talking about, because
Yep.
this is.
This is just benefits.
This is, this is probably benefits, that could be
Another
either
section.
policy
Policy
or
or-
what, you know, when the new person comes on, this is what's expected of you.
Okay,
Because, I know they have that, the fire department has it, that, you know, over a period of time,
You
you're
will be
supposed to
there.
get trained up to a
Sure.
certain level. If you don't, then you really don't maintain your employment.
Right.
So, you know, and I think
Yeah, I
that,
think this is important, but I don't think it should be part of it.
not part
No,
of this,
part of
okay.
it.
so that might be either, that might be, I don't know, employee contract or something.
Sure,
Okay.
policy letter or something, it should be,
I'll dig a little more and see to find out, but I know that those types of documents exist,
Okay,
that we can figure out what it is that kind
Yeah, I'll-
of says you're a new hire, this is what is expected of you.
I can
And if
keep
you
going.
can't, because, you know, sometimes people come and they just might not test well or can't obtain what's
Right.
needed to do the job, well then, unfortunately, they shouldn't be
right.
doing it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't have those water licenses, like.
Then you can- yeah. Yep.
It's kind of important.
So I think that should be separate, but
okay,
for the policies and benefits,
All right.
for the benefits part of it, and I think that's a great start for that, so.
all right, I'll get those changes and then I'll just put that on the next meeting.
Yep.
And then if
And-
those changes are good, we can.
So I would
download
almost
them.
look at these as, take the policies out of this, and just its personnel benefits.
Okay,
And at least that's that part,
Yep,
and then we'll do something separate,
of like
okay,
an employee package or something.
sure.
all right.
Perfect. And then we'll move on to policies.
Then, yes, that
After
can
we
be
get that
another,
done, we can do that another day. Okay, anything else on personnel benefits that we just went over?
Nothing for me.
Okay, can't wait. Review EPA's health advisory guideline changes to PFAS.
Okay, so yeah, they just came out with this last week. It's all new. It's they come out with new guidelines for lower levels than what is currently in place, and actually different specific contaminants that they're focusing on. There was like 4 different focus points. So I mean, so it's going to be a something that Bloomberg's definitely gotta definitely look into. And where it's so new, I mean, no one even knows what to do. So this is what was actually stated as in a quote. This is all new information. It will be awaiting guidance from Mass DP as to whether further action is necessary for Lunenburg water system. So I mean, all the regulations are so new. We're reviewing data for the samples that were collected, and a lot of the stuff that was collected, the minimum detection levels is higher than what the maximum level that EPA gave. So we don't even know what the results are. So we're in the beginning stages of this, where things need to be really reviewed and developed as for testing procedures. So we're not really sure where Lunenburg fits in all this stuff as it pertains for the future.
So we could no longer be asking, we could be told what we have to do.
Correct. So all the stuff that's coming down the line, if the regulations are, if the samples are collected and the results are known, Mass DEP, in the direction of EPA, it will be telling us what and how we're gonna treat each well.
So basically, all the planning, the pre-planning and stuff that we're doing now, if we don't get on it, we're gonna be behind the eight ball.
Well, that's my big concern is if these regulations drop to a whole new lower standard and everybody's impacted, the amount of funding is gonna be
Gone.
it's gone.
Everyone's gonna be diving into
So
this.
I think that the quicker we get on this thing, the more likely we are to get funding. So in particular to the Hickory Hills well, under the old regulations, we've already exceeded all the levels. So
Yeah.
to me, if we went for funding, I think that would get a higher priority than someone who's and hasn't hit that point. So in my opinion, I think we need to step up the game. And I know there's concerns from the Hickory Hills landowners, the board, but in my opinion, I think you guys should call a special meeting, not like 2 weeks, because we need 2 weeks' notice, but push it out a little bit and call that special meeting, and then that sets a deadline. Let everybody get their stuff together. You know, we'll agree to cooperate with the pilot study with them, and we'll do everything we got to do. But I think we need to set a date and not drag this long. I would set the date, and there's our date, and commit to it, and get it passed, because it has to pass. So if it doesn't pass, and treatment is, let's say that Hickory Hills isn't approved for any kind of treatment, and we need to do a treatment on another source. So everybody's aware, drastic water restrictions. Like, you are not gonna water your grass.
Mhm.
You are not gonna water your car. I mean, it's gonna be drastic. Like, you're gonna be restricted. I mean, we're not gonna have the water though. I mean,
Right. So currently, supply is not an issue, it's treatment that is gonna become our future issue.
yes, right.
And if we don't get on it, not only are we gonna miss on
The funding.
the funding, it's gonna cost everybody more, especially when they
Oh,
mandate. When they mandate it, there's no other way than to go to the people.
And I'm not that I've done any math, but I would imagine, without funding and assistance, your water bill's going up 5-6 times. I mean, you're probably looking at a water bill simply a tax bill. And that's if you don't water your grass in the irrigation.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think everybody's in a huge wake-up call here if stuff goes, hopefully it doesn't go where I think it's headed, but we'll see.
Well, Mass is pretty restrictive as far as chemicals go and use of chemicals, and I think treatment of contaminants, they're also right there. So I think it is something that we need to act on.
I agree.
So-
Yep. So you guys want to think about a day and time, and if you want to invite the Hickory Hills people to come in and see what they want to do for a time frame.
I would
Can we
like,
do a cooperative.
I would like to see, I know that they had some questions that went to DEP. I thought we already answered some of them, but I think they were looking for a higher power,
Mhm.
I guess.
I mean,
But I'm not prepared at this meeting, but I'm thinking that we need to have them back in with some, in light of this, and talk about this and make them aware that we should be making a decision on, in like our next meeting,
Right.
on moving forward on this.
Right.
Because, if the mandate comes down, then all of the working together that we've talked about is we're gonna need the funding for the mandated stuff, never mind the extra stuff we're trying to find out in the meantime. And I don't know, did you read the letter that went from Hickory Hills to
Yes.
DEP?
Yeah,
Were
that was
there
a while ago.
any particular, I didn't get the chance to go all the way through it, I think a lot of it was just the
The concern of
land
putting
under
the
the-
treatment in the water,
Yeah.
which, I mean, it's been a well source since 1995, so
yeah.
they were adding chemicals to the lake when it was a water source, so I don't know why that's coming up, but I don't know, the intent of the letter was more so to take away what we already have, and to me, that's, really has nothing to do with us. And
Yeah,
I have no
I
intent.
thought there was some questioning on the zone one and whether.
Right, with, on the lake.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and the
And I don't-
DEP on the letter said they didn't care about the land under the lake, they were worried about the lake, and then, the boating and fishing, which we were only required to have a bylaw for protecting that, if the boating and fishing wasn't restricted, then it's not restricted, so.
Right.
um,
So I don't think that, any of the stuff that we're looking at would have a direct effect on
So,
the lake. And until we do the study, we don't know. And
Right.
we really need to get on the study until it becomes, and once it becomes mandated, then it's not even an ask anymore, it's we have to do it.
Right.
right, I agree.
It's
So-
not even an ask for the study, right?
So-
If DEP
Correct.
mandates us to
come
go
with the tolerance.
after our highest levels of PFAS, then there's no vote of the district. The district, we have to do
Well,
it.
a lot of times the Mass DEP will actually give you money to do the pilot study, so yeah, you wouldn't have to ask anybody, you got the money, just go do it.
Right.
So that's kind of where it's kind of heading. But I agree that it could be the point where you're not asking.
But if
Still-
they give us, if they give us the money for a pilot study, yes, that's great, but we're behind the 8 ball.
Right.
We
But
should
I
have the
mean,
pilot study done
So
first.
I don't know, we would still cooperate and do whatever, have them pilot it so they'd be
Yeah.
happy with what our testing was. But I know Christie's working on a grant for
Technical assistance.
technical
Technical assistance grant.
For informational stuff, how
Yeah.
to talk to people, and so people are informed. And I think if we do call a special meeting, before we have the special meeting, maybe we hire Ty and Bond to do a presentation on the impacts that will happen if and when.
The only way I've ever seen anything be successful as far as that goes is if we did a presentation, it can't just be here, it's gotta be.
Well, no, I would say on camera, so everybody can see
Yeah,
whatever
but
they want.
selectmen's meeting, the only time I have, when they were going for the new school,
Yeah.
they were everywhere, and that's the only way that everybody understood what our needs were, because somebody was there answering all the questions,
Right.
so, it would have to really get out there.
Okay. And-
Because everybody, the people that came here, and they don't watch our meetings, so
Right.
they didn't understand how we got to this point.
Right. But I would like them, the PFAS thing, and I would like them to dive in a little bit on the lake levels. Because in 2010, we dropped the lake 2 to 3 feet, and there's 100 million gallons in each foot of the lake, and we only pumped 13 million gallons. We need that to come out, that the information that's out there is totally false.
Mhm.
And that needs to come out there that,
Well, you gotta read the whole report, and then you understand it better.
but no one reads it, or all they get is that one statement that if we pump 100 million gallons, it's gonna drop a foot. But that doesn't state that's recharge all around the lake. And you got the Mulbus Brook feeding it, and there is rainstorms, and that's a worst case scenario, which.
All that stuff would come out in the study.
Right, that's what I mean, I want them,
That's why we
not
want the
only that
study.
PFAS, so we can comfort the people of the lake and not go by what they've been hearing.
Right,
They
right.
need to hear it from an engineer, not from me, because, I mean,
No.
math is pretty simple, you can't argue with math.
Yeah.
I think an engineer needs to come out with it so that, you know.
I think it's a
the
good
facts are
idea.
out
I know some of the arguments we've had back and forth on the water under the lake and who owns the land under it and everything like that. I don't really wanna have that argument as much as I wanna have the factual, like, hey, this is,
Right.
you know.
And that's some of the stuff that went in the letter to DEP that they should answer.
Right.
I mean, our attorneys answered it, the town's attorneys
Correct.
answered it. So, you know, until somebody can tell us definitively something different,
Mhm.
that has some sort of
Merit
authority
behind it, yeah.
or, you know, professional on it, then, you know, I think we need to move forward. I would probably reach out to the board members and tell them that, you know, in light of the new information, this is becoming a high priority for us to stay ahead of, so that the people in the district can benefit from this. If the longer we wait, and everybody knows, the longer you wait on anything, the more it's gonna cost.
Yeah.
I think that we've set people into spots that we could get this thing done much sooner than before it becomes mandated.
So are you okay if for the next meeting, as part of the agenda, we put on discussion, possible approval of a special meeting? And then we can invite the Hickory Hills
Yep.
board to attend?
Yeah, I wanna see
So that we can discuss it with them.
where, I think we've really covered a lot of data with them. I think they understand our position and what we wanna do. We're looking to work together. We're gonna need that resource. So let's figure it out before it becomes mandated that we just have to do it.
Okay. And, all right, and so everybody knows, even if it is mandated, we still don't wanna work with them and.
Yeah,
do
oh, I still
whatever.
want to.
Yeah,
But
so they have to, but-
the sooner we jump on this, the better our chances are to get funding so that, you know, we aren't raising the rates
Right.
5 times what they should be.
All right, so so I won't talk to Ty and Bond about a presentation, maybe I'll hint to them that this is what we're considering.
Sure.
You know, if, do they have an idea what the study's gonna, what the study would look like?
For the pilot study, I'm sure they have probably pretty general ideas of what.
I would, you know, if the board members from Hickory Hills want to hear from an engineer what the study would entail, and they're willing to come in for our next meeting?
Why,
Or-
yeah, I mean, well, they kinda went through it.
Right, we
They-
did.
So, I would say, because we're gonna need to know this anyway. So I think we have Ty and Bond, submit, scope of work,
Okay.
engineering,
Yeah,
the engineering and the pilot study. So we have what we're gonna be, cause we're gonna need that to call a special.
sure, yep.
So, I think we had was it 150, whatever the number was.
Yeah, on the article, yeah.
So I think we have a number there, and we have the engineer submit that, so we know what we're voting on.
Mhm.
So, hey, well, let's call a special meeting, this is the article, this is how much, and then we can
And this is what it's
negotiate
gonna,
a
this is what it's
time.
gonna cover.
Yeah.
And then we have time before we do that, if we want to modify it, if they were gonna come to us with a
Yeah,
proposal.
yeah, so yes,
Yeah.
right. So let's put that on the agenda, so we'll get time on to work on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, do we have it on the SRF funding on that, or is it, because I want, on the agenda? No,
No.
so on time bond. So, tied, part of the PFAS thing, we need to submit for the state revolving fund application for the grant money
Mhm.
and the funding for this stuff.
That needs to
So the
be
deadline's, it's in August.
August.
It's in
Right.
August. So, I already talked to them about doing it, they're all ready to go. And, but I'd like to put a little add-on to it, because we only voted to approve them to do the PFAS stuff, not the other, like water main improvement, stuff like that. So, I think we should let them put that on their project as well. So they submit one application, and we have the PFAS on it, for the treatment of the PFAS. And then we also have, as a separate job items, is the water main replacement on Baker Street, Prospect Street, no, Pleasant Street, whatever, name the streets, how many miles, how much it's cost,
Right.
and, you know, and then, you know, why, and, you know, increased transmission,
And I think each of the
Pumping.
engineers talked about that kind of bumps you up.
Yes.
Sure.
Having
Yeah,
those
yeah.
point, you know, jobs,
So I
whatever.
want to get you guys permission to do that, because you guys only approved them for the PFAS.
Is that like a capital, well, with the PFAS plus everything we talked about, lake levels and all this other stuff?
Yeah, that would be
That would be part of
that,
Scope one for the PFAS treatment
So-
plant, that would be the pilot study.
Are you
This
looking
is
like
both separate.
updating our capital plan that we had from
Not
years ago?
updating, no, I want to use that. So I already actually talked to them,
Yeah.
because a lot of those guys actually worked for Stantec, Dufresne Henry when
Yeah.
that was made. So they probably were part of the design of that. So I want to take that and
Tag it-
give that to them.
tag it
Say,
on to-
This is what we want to do, you know,
Yeah.
and that kind of thing.
Yep,
So, you know, I think by tying it to them with
And
the
then when we go
PFAS.
forward with the funding,
yes. Has much of that changed? Like, you know, over time, sometimes I say like I have these 5 trucks and
Right.
this truck's the next one for replacement. Well,
Yeah.
over time now,
Well,
this one's actually better than the other one. You know,
Yeah.
is it something that,
I don't think they've changed. I mean, most of the ones that I always focus on is the ones that are breaking.
Right, the easy
You know,
ones.
the Pleasant Street, Rolling Acres, Lancaster Ave, from Whiting Street down to starting heading down the hill. Yeah, Pleasant Street, the body even on the top, Pratt Street.
Would you be able to include that other one that you've been looking into, that drilling, the directional
Yeah,
drilling?
the tying
That
the,
tie-in?
Yeah, that one isn't, I'm still working on that one.
Okay.
My first little plan, Island Road to Brookview didn't work out.
Okay.
So that was like extremely difficult. It was so much digging to go where the directional drill could actually take place, because I met him down there, we all walked it and stuff.
yeah,
I actually changed my whole thought process there. My mind moved over to the Woodlands, going from Royal Fern
mhm.
to Pine Acres. That's way closer. That's like
Oh.
half the distance.
And
So-
a directional bore?
No, it would,
Or just,
yeah, it would be
would it
direct-
be cross-country main?
there is a little wet section in there.
Yep.
And so we would dig probably half of it, and then directional drill would probably be like 400 feet.
Yeah,
And so when I met with the directional drill guy, he's like, what size main you looking at? And I said, it could be a 6, I prefer an 8 if possible. And he kind of pushed me, says, could a 4 work? And I said, I would take, it's just for temporary backup.
yes, yeah,
So I said, if the 4 is all we could do, I would take a 4.
yeah.
You know, because if, let's say we can't get any of this done, well, we're gonna be running a 4-inch line across above ground from hydrant to hydrant.
Yeah.
So that's what it's gonna be. So if we have one underground, that's even better.
Yeah.
So I know, none of us want a 4.
No, but
but
you-
if that's
better
all we can
than-
get, we'll take it, because he says it's so much cheaper and he can do the distance.
Mhm.
If he does another one, he might not be able to do it, so. So we'll see how it goes, but he said he's gonna send me some proposals just to get an idea of pricing and stuff, so.
It is shorter, it'd still give you water down there, but it doesn't help you if something happens after Hemlock Drive.
True, but that's all back to line, I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
really worried about that, so.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had any breaks, laminate, but that's okay.
No,
Down past Hickory, past Hemlock, or down in there?
no, that's all duct line. So the only thing we've had is right at the beginning of the AC pipe. And the big focus of this thing is for us to replace that main on Mass Ave.
Right.
We need some backfeed, so
Yeah.
that we're not dewatering all of Hickory Hills and all of Cortland and
Right.
Elmwood and all that, so any kind of feed backwards, I mean.
Yeah, because the only
I mean,
line
it's-
goes down Mass Ave now, that's it. There's no
that's
way
it.
to connect to it.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, yeah, I'd be in favor of that.
Yeah.
Sure, I'd like to see a 6 or an 8, but a 4 would work, and it would really solve a lot of problems.
Can we consider making that part of that project, replacing that main?
We could,
That would be the first thing to happen, because you want to make sure that
Yeah.
before we replace that main, that's probably in place.
So that's the thing, what I just was on the town's assessor maps, looking up the properties, and, because we'd have to get easements from 3 properties in the Woodlands to make this happen.
Yeah,
So, and it wouldn't, I mean, it would only be probably a 10 or 15 foot easement, so it wouldn't be anything extreme, and it'd be right in the back of their property, so.
Mhm.
I haven't talked to him, I just looked him up yesterday, who it was and stuff, so. Cause, yeah, the Island Road one was just, it was too much.
Okay.
Yeah, so just so you guys know, it would, the water main would have to go from Island Road, I get the old road where the old bridge
Yeah.
was. So we'd have to directional drill under where the old bridge was, and then go down a long driveway down to Valley Road.
Mhm.
So that was, it was like 2,000 feet
Mhm.
height.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
with the directional drill, so.
Yeah.
I mean, so the Pine Acres, so I'm like, there's gotta be something, so I was just looking on Google Earth, the aerial thing, I'm like, well, those two look pretty close. So I started measuring and looking at it, looking at the lots, and, well, we'll see.
I'd say worst case, if we can't, we gotta lay something above ground when we do mass out, we probably wanna lay
Right,
something above ground
so
anyway.
even if we do it above ground, maybe that's the spot. So we can do a tap onto Woodlands, the driveway going down, maybe do a tap, and just put a stub up, and then above ground from
Yeah.
that stub to the hydrant on Pine Acres.
Good deal.
And I'm sure the people, if they're opposed to an easement, I'm sure they wouldn't be opposed to us temporarily
Running
running
on
across.
top, right, just to make sure they all have water.
Make sure everybody has water.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, so time bond, we okay with if I
Yep.
add the water mains to it? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, because we're gonna, it has to be done. I mean, the mains are beyond their life expectancy already.
Yeah.
So, we, you know, we gotta have some sort of plan in place. Okay, so review old business, I think we already did.
Mhm.
Commissioner, superintendent additions. Do you have anything else that's?
The only thing I want to put is water restrictions are in place. Central
even,
Mass went into, we just simple permanently requires 9 AM to 5, only for emergency use, so.
Yeah. So no outdoor water between 9 and 5.
Correct. So we're on the first level 1, mild drought. A lot of the permits, the state has worked with water supplies and has changed them, so they have more strict guidelines when it hits certain levels of drought. Ours just is the 9 to 5, but I think the correct thing to do would be if we hit the next level, like a moderate drought, then maybe we impose more strict. Maybe we go to odd evens or something like that, so, you know, and so everybody knows it has nothing to do with us having the ability to supply water.
Yeah.
The wells are all good, Lancasters are good, Keys is good. This is the only restriction that we have to impose because we are told to impose it.
Right.
In the past, before we had the permits, we didn't do restrictions, unless we had the sources
Sure.
were low.
And for everybody at home, watering between 9 and 5, you get a lot more evaporation, it doesn't go to your plants, so you're better off to water before 9 and after 5.
That is correct.
Okay. Anything?
Oh, one more other thing.
Oh, okay. Keep going.
The water main, there's a meeting here regarding the water main on Mass Ave from Warfield, the main we were just talking about.
Yeah.
That's June 29th at 10 o'clock here with Stantec. So
Okay.
if any of you guys.
And that's
wish to
going
attend-
over the design?
Yes, the design
engineering
phase.
design of-
Yes. So we gotta come figure it out and come up with a plan.
Okay.
So you guys are welcome to come and.
I'll put that to our clerk treasurer to send us a text and remind us.
My big remind.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
word.
Yeah.
It's a good thing you do.
It's like, yep, it is.
Right, when she does remind, he shows up every Wednesday.
Sometimes
Sorry. next
sometimes it's good though, I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? And then I get all the other things I can
Yeah,
ask about.
good.
Okay, any other additions? Public comment?
We had the guy come out, Stutman, to look at the floors and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
And he had his floor guy come out, so they're gonna come up with a plan of how
How to
they
fix them.
fix
The way you're missing the floors?
waves.
No.
Okay. Nothing else?
That's it for me.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We're done.